All righty. Let's rock and roll. First of all, before I get to my guest, we have Senator Sharon Hewitt getting ready to join us. I've got a gentleman in here with us. He's one of the three people that when we were doing the telethon, we did a deal that said, hey, if you put up $1,000 for St. Jude, and that was an awesome cause. And the gentleman today, we had one on. This is the second one. I got one Monroe. We'll catch him in a couple of weeks. But Tim Metcalf, who's well known here in our area, and if you ever heard of Deano's, not only have I heard of Deano's, Tim, I've been to Deano's.
Well, thank you.
Now, I may not have seen you there. Tim's laughing at me for saying it. That's not a cut, brother. That's not a cut. Because I've been to the one here, and then we used to live off of College Saloon.
Okay.
And I go to church off College Saloon, so it's kind of easy to whip in Deano's all the time. Anyway, good to see you, man.
Nice to see you.
Well, appreciate you doing what you did. That was very good. And we're going to get to you in a little bit, and I want you to be. He's going to be part of the program. He's co-hosting the program. We're going to talk a little bit about Tim, his business. And Tim don't mind talking about politics either. That's what I hear.
Not at all. Not at all.
So we're going to get to Tim as he co-hosts the program today and talk a little bit more to him. But I do want to jump gears because I had a young lady on here, Miss Senator Sharon Hewitt, who's people know her from the program, and they know her as Senator Hewitt. Senator Hewitt, how you doing?
Good morning, man. Doing great.
All right, Senator Hewitt, what's going on? Tell us what you got hot right now.
The hot thing now, Moon, is we have a common sense bill over in the legislature that we're going to be talking about on the Senate side, and that has to do with a statewide framework for ride sharing. Your listeners will know that as Uber or Lyft.
Uh-huh.
And believe it or not, in our state right now, we have a patchwork of agreements, mostly in the big cities, that will give you access to Uber or Lyft. But there's a lot of cities that are excluded and a lot of rural areas, of course, where you cannot get ride sharing. And so what this bill will do, and this is House Bill 749 by Speaker Taylor Barra, this bill will basically set up a statewide framework where you can have access to Uber or Lyft all over the state of Louisiana. The patchwork problem is that, for example, if you have someone in Monroe that wants to go over to Louisiana Tech, they can get in an Uber in Monroe, but when they get over to Tech in Ruston, they can't get a ride back. And so it's creating a lot
By the way,
of problems.
that would make it for not a fun day. I mean that's a 30-minute hike on the interstate. That might not be fun.
That would not be a good way to end your day.
No, not at all.
So, 45 states have this, a common statewide agreement that allows ride-sharing companies like Uber and Lyft to operate throughout the state. And the one-off system that we have right now, where some cities have a deal and some cities don't, and many parishes don't either, makes it very complicated because the rules for the drivers are all different. And of course, the riders are confused, the tourists are confused, and this is a great side income for many people. I had a friend of mine that's a school teacher call me and say, I get to use my vehicle for, Uber, to be an Uber driver to pick up some extra income on the weekends because she's not making enough money as a school teacher. And so it's a great thing for our people that want to be drivers. It's certainly a good thing for folks that want to take advantage of technology.
Sharon, where's the bill at right now? Has it moved through the Senate yet?
Yes, it is in the Senate. It's going to the Judiciary A committee, where it will be heard probably next week.
Has it made it through the House, or is it starting the Senate?
Yes, no, it made it to the House.
Okay, well, I can't follow every bill. That's why I'm just curious. So, how big was the passage in the House?
It was overwhelming.
Okay.
I think there might have been one or two votes against the bill. So, overwhelming support on the House side. We want to make sure that it gets a good, fair hearing in the Judiciary A committee and gets to the Senate floor.
Yeah, if you get it, as you know, most bills are killed on the committee. So, if you get it through the committee, you should pass it in the Senate. And it sounds like a pretty common sense deal to me.
It's a common sense bill. We think it's a win-win for everyone. And, people love it. Think about it. When you travel and you're out of state, if you're not staying at a major hotel or you're not at the airport, if you're sightseeing or doing something else, it's not that easy to get a hold of a cab.
Mm-hmm.
And so most all of us love the convenience of being able to use your phone and call an Uber.
I hate to ask this question, and Tim, you might even fit in. Are cab people still in business?
Yeah.
I'm serious with you. With Uber and all that, they still hanging around.
Big cities, Vegas, New York, they really do.
The smaller
well.
places, they kind of fade a little bit.
Fading out.
Yeah, I don't see them anymore. That's why I'm asking. I mean, I think I saw a taxi here maybe one time. I've been living here 4 years. I don't ever see them because of this.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they generally will have cab stands at, major hotels, perhaps, in the bigger cities. But people love the flexibility of Uber and Lyft and the ability to be able to get someone to come pick you up wherever you are in a very short order of time. You can select what kind of car you want. You know the name of the driver when they come. You're able to talk with them. Mm-hmm. It's a very convenient system, and it's very cost effective.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, well, I think you have a good time. Like I said, unless some big shot or somebody's lobbying at the committee, I think the bill will probably pass. It seems like a pretty common sense bill. Hey, what about didn't you have a seatbelt bill that you were working on? I know we talked about this before. Our car insurance is outrageous here now, and if it's not the highest in the country, I want to know what state is higher than us. So where's that bill at right now?
Well, I'm glad you asked. That common sense bill actually died in the Judiciary Aid Committee.
See, that's what I'm saying. Somebody wanted it dead, they wanted it in the committee.
It's kind of a tough committee on some issues, and that committee basically the majority of the members on that committee did not believe that if you're injured in an automobile accident and you're not wearing your seatbelt, they did not believe that should be factored into the jury's decision about how much money to award. They believe that whether you're wearing your seatbelt or not, that we, the taxpayers, should all pay for all of your medical costs regardless. Mm-hmm. And we know that increases jury awards and increases car insurance rates. The Commissioner of Insurance was there to testify to that fact. And so that is
so that bill died in the Senate Judiciary Aid Committee? Yes, sir. Okay. The only reason I was asking you about that, I wanted to see who the members are. Let's see, Senator Ricky Ward, Senator Jay Lunatic. That's the one out of Alexandria. Wesley Bishop, Jack Donahue, Ron Gaddy, Danny Gamlin Martini, and Senator John Milkovich. I'm looking at some of the names. It's not a big committee, 2, 4, 6, 7 people. How bad did it get beat?
They got beat 4-1. Senator Donahue had to leave for another appointment outside the Capitol that was very important. Senator Martini did support the bill, and the others voted against it.
So, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, somebody lobbied that. But that's where the bill's going. If your other bill gets killed, or this bill you're talking about, it's going to be killed in the committee. I don't see why they would kill it, but I'm just telling you that's where they kill a bill. Is that bill being brought back up, or is it dead for the session?
Well, we're not sure. We're considering whether it would make sense to bring the bill back up, or whether we just live to fight another day next year.
Can it go to another committee, or this is where they thought it was appropriate?
Well, that was its second committee hearing. It got heard in the Transportation Committee and went to the Senate floor, and kind of through a maneuver, it was recommitted to the Judiciary Aid Committee, mm-hmm. where it ultimately was defeated.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add, Sharon?
Well, we're just here fighting a good fight. I want you to know that we're working a lot on the budget. I believe that there's a lot of information that we're all learning, senators and representatives, about the needs of our government. And we're talking about not just what's out of the bill, but also what's in the bill. And we want to make sure that we're focusing on the highest priorities in terms of expenses for the state. But it's a tall order, but I want you to know we're working hard, and I think everybody wants to solve this problem.
Well, we're gonna see. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with the budget. Senator Sharon Ewart. All right, Sharon, thank you. We'll do it again another time. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. Actually, it's Moon Griffon Tim Metcalf Show. Tim Metcalf is a business owner in the city of Lafayette, and Deano's. I'm gonna call it Deano's Pizza.
That's it.
But I know it's y'all got a little bit of everything, man. I've been to it many times, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm not just telling you that. I really am.
All right, now they're known for the pizza, but their crawfish nachos are ridiculously good.
One of the pizzas that I like there, and he's gonna know which one I'm talking about, is the crab, the one they put the blue point crab on it.
Marie Laveau.
That's it.
Yep.
Marina. I don't ever know, but when I open it and see it, the last 5 times I ate the same pizza. And I've eaten all kind of pizzas and dishes in your at your place, but Brandon, the one I'm telling you, if you're a crab meat eater,
it's delicious.
I know what you're talking about. This one, and
yeah.
I'm telling you, that is sweet.
Right.
It's got flavor and seasoning and all, but got a little sweet touch to it, man. I'm telling you what, that's delicious.
Well,
How long you been in business?
Almost 50 years.
2 or 3 locations?
2.
Okay, well, I didn't want to say, if you'd have said 4, I'd have been embarrassed. I know of those 2, but
right.
I'm new here. That don't mean there's not one sitting on another side that somebody just put one up, and that's why I was asking.
We're looking at Karen Crow right now, so.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Well, everybody's looking at Karen Crow, I believe.
They are.
I don't live too far from that. That's why I'm saying I'm wondering if everything seems to be going in that direction.
It's a growing area.
Yeah, it's no doubt about it. Especially and for people that are not around here, if you come down I-49, you run right through Karen Crow basically, and you're going to look at all the growth, especially with retail stores and also restaurants.
Restaurants, right.
Because I noticed some other ones going up there as well. So y'all looking at that? Is that
we
sometime
are.
soon?
Yeah, we're doing due diligence on property.
So would you do better if they would double taxes? Would that help your business?
No, not at all. No.
Tim,
no.
I wish people could do what you do. I wish everybody had to run a business for 2 years or 1 year, and you had to show profit. Right. And it had to be a reality business.
Right.
It would change the mindset on these lawmakers that go to Baton Rouge, the ones that are here locally, and the ones that go to Washington.
And the voters, too.
The voters. That's who we would change more than anybody.
Yeah, that's right. Because their taxes come out mindlessly from their payroll check. But see, they don't have to write that check. Now, you run a business for a month, and then you write checks, you give money away, and you had nothing left if you got a bad month. That's
well, how about this? I better go borrow my line of credit because I need to pay my payroll. Now, see, people go, well, you're not a good business owner. It's nothing to do with that. You can be a great business owner. I mean, these oil and gas people that went out of business, the smaller companies,
right.
5 years ago, they were making lots of money. Okay, a lot of them put money back, but it's no way to put enough money back for yourself, your business, all your employees. No, it doesn't work that way, and that's what I get so frustrated. I'm not a tax protester. Randy, you ever heard me protest taxes? Nope. I'm gonna pay every single one of them they tell me to pay. My CPA knows we're paying it exactly what they say. You're probably doing the same thing. Most people do, but it comes a while. It hurts a business, and that's what frustrates me for people like you. You're a lot bigger business than I am. You deal with employees. I just got to deal with an award-winning producer. I don't have a problem.
Yeah, we have like 200 employees between all the properties.
But man, that's cool. That's what small, medium-sized businesses are.
Right.
You are America. That's exactly why. Right. And that's why I tell people all the time, you can't just keep taking from the people that are producing.
No.
Because sooner or later, instead of you opening a third store, you're going to go down to one. You don't want to do that.
No.
I mean, if you got expansion, you still dreaming the dream. You're trying to expand.
Exactly.
And that's a good thing.
I think it is.
No, absolutely. I hope you do it. I hope you're very successful doing it. But I get a little frustrated with it because they spend too much money locally, government-wise. They spend way too much in Baton Rouge, and the federal government's
out of control. Yeah. Totally.
And that's being nice. We're doing the nice version of out of control.
That's
but
right.
You've been in business 50 years. Is it a family-owned business?
Dad started it.
Okay.
So I'm second generation. My son, Greg, is running the Collie Saloon store.
So in other words, you got another one that's going to fall right in the footsteps.
That's right.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When you look at family businesses, a lot of them started out their house and the kitchen and things like that, and that's pretty much it. 50 years in business says a lot for y'all.
Yeah, and then going into the third generation in independent business, I think it's less than 8% survive.
Well, I think they get to the second generation and it really falls off. When you start talking about the third generation, they're usually out the business, then sold it, took their money, and got the heck out.
Right.
So third generation, I know you got to be proud of that.
Very proud.
Well, sometimes when it gets to the third generation, too, maybe the passion falls off. I mean, I was talking to a business owner the other day who has his business set up, has made amazing connections, and he's ready to hand it off to his son, and his son doesn't want it. And it's like, wow, man, he was so disappointed.
And that's you make a great point. There's all kind of reasons it doesn't move on. It could be hate the business. It could be family feuds. It could be anything. But I think you make a great point. It's going to eventually be gone someday. In your case, you got a kid that's actively involved. You think this thing's going to run and may go a fourth generation. May not.
Yeah, we'll see. So.
Yeah, but that's a good 50 years in business. Y'all had to do something right.
We're doing something right.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, that's Tim Metcalf. He's my special guest host today. We're going to get into some issues and things of that nature. By the way, I don't know if you saw this because you told me you can't follow everything. There's in the state of Louisiana, they talk about we have budget problems. I know you read about this stuff. And there's a thing called non-government organizations that we fund by the hundreds of millions and billions. Non-government organizations. So that means why is government going to them? There's a big brouhaha going on. They put out a budget for these projects, and they gave money to the Boy Scouts, but they didn't give money to the Girl Scouts. And the Girl Scouts want $850,000 and put it as a high priority through the House Ways and Means. And people are not going to like what I say. I don't think they ought to give to the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts.
No, I agree.
And by the way, people can get mad at me, but if those entities are that good and people want to support it, why are they getting money from the state?
Yeah, they should support it, self-supported.
When you're like, hey, I just said, why don't they do a bill? Tim gets $100,000, I get $100,000 from the Louisiana legislature every year for 10 years. I'll take it.
Yeah, easy.
But my question is, why should they be funding that? We're going to talk to you when we get back. Tim Metcalf, my special guest. Deano's Pizza in Lafayette, 2 great locations. Check them out on the website as well. We'll be right back.
I got you.
I always said, folks, on this program, if we would ever start taping what goes on off the program and play it, the ratings are skyrocketing. All right, Tim Metcalf, my special guest. I'm Moon Griffon, the Moon Griffon Show, 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. I'm already getting texts and emails. People said they're going to eat Deano's for lunch. Awesome. We got them hungry already.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I was bringing it up that this is one of the things that the late C.B. Ferguson used to teach us all the time, NGOs. People could come up with great things to take government money from and give it to a cause. Anything to do with children, anything to do with health, anything to do with keeping kids out of prison. I understand all that. The Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts have been hanging out for a long time. Me and you, Tim, the same age, basically. And I've watched Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts operate. I watched a lot of people involved in it. I think it's an awesome cause. I was never a member, okay, because I had a dad at the time. We hunt, we fish, we play ball. There was no time for us to fit that in, okay? Right. But I think it's a great, great thing that they do for kids that are not always involved, especially taking young kids and doing some things. But anyway, the Girl Scouts are upset because the Boy Scouts were in the budget and the Girl Scouts are not, okay? The Boy Scouts got approval for the project and the state's capital outlay bill. You got to remember, the state's broke.
Right.
We're watching them fuss and bicker. They want to raise your taxes personally. Mm-hmm. They want to raise, Tim, the taxes for your business.
Right.
Okay. So we can balance all this. But in the meantime, how many projects like this that are out there? And if you're in the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, Brandon, if you want to take a call, I'll take any heat they want to throw at me. My question is, why can't they do it on their own with private money? People give to these people. People give to the services. And Tim, I don't.
How many thousands of boxes of Girl Scout cookies do they sell a year? Where's that money go?
And by the way, we buy our share every year. Right. And they're talking about redoing a camp, and it's used by area churches. That's fine. But the point being is that a legitimate state function? And I say it's not.
No, I agree.
I mean, Tim, would you be, and remember my joke going off there, I said, Tim, the state ought to come up with something, $100,000 for my business over the next 10 years and $100,000 for yours.
Right.
Okay. Would that be a legitimate state function? No.
No.
Will we take it? Hell yeah. Everybody else is.
Yeah. Bring it on.
But you see my point.
Exactly.
So, if you got hundreds and millions and billions of dollars of non-government organizations and you're bickering about money, why don't you cut out the non-government organizations? These I guarantee you, if they would have taken the time and said, you know what, and when somebody comes in here with the Girl Scouts, and Girl Scout cookies is a great example. This year I did it again. Who's the lady that had some kids in here that sold Girl Scout cookies? You remember one of the things you got mentioned?
There's multiple.
Multiple.
Yeah.
So what happened? Moon's fucking $10, $12, $14.
Right.
I get home, And I'm sitting down with my bride, and the door rings. And so Tanya gets up, hey, thank you. And I said, Moon, so-and-so. So I get up, and it's a little girl with a whole case of...
Double dipping.
I'm getting an echo. Is it on over the top or something like that? I'm talking
idea.
too loud. But what I'm saying is, so I get home, we got 32 boxes of cookies.
Right.
I think I contributed.
Exactly.
And so, no, it's not legitimate to use state money or local money. But, Tim, this is why your taxes are high, brother.
That's right.
You know, we build in golf courses.
Golf courses, lakes.
We build in lakes and reservoirs. And none of those are legitimate government functions. Absolutely none of them. And they call them economic development. You being a guy you're involved in this, but, you're involved in your business and your family and things like that. I just wanted to throw it at you. Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, love them. Think the world of them.
Yes, I'll support them through the business. We allow them to sell cookies. We'll do fundraisers for them, but taxes, no.
No, that's what bothers. But it's not just them. It's everybody is sitting there wanting a piece of the pie to make their lives easier. In the meanwhile, this governor, Bill Evers, and by the way, bring that theme song up, Brian. I got to play it for Tim. I want him to get a kick out of this. This governor and them, all they ever want is to tax businesses and tax individuals.
Right.
And they call everybody rich. If you make 30, 45 in the state, you're rich.
And how's that business model working for us in the state?
It's not.
Out migration.
No,
that's correct. Texas is doing pretty good.
Yeah. Texas and all these other states are doing real good. Job-wise, that's a struggle for us. You know that. You're in the heart of all in gas industry. It's been a struggle.
The downturn was a struggle for us to maintain sales.
I was about to say, did y'all probably got hit with that too?
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Everybody did. All the businesses around here got hit. And I know some restaurants that, as you know, if you look at what happened here, Brian, I think your boss would too. We saw a lot of really good businesses that had been around for a little while close
down.
And boy, that breaks your heart.
It does.
Because, you in the food business, you've seen food chains and food businesses just go out, and you probably knew some of those guys.
Yes, I did.
So I'm just curious, in talking with you, and you talked about the struggles that it had with the oil and gas industry. How is it now as far as recovering off of those hard times, and how do you survive during those times?
Well, we learned, we've been around long enough, so we learned in the 80s, but we don't have a lot of fat in the business. So
right.
We're able to just downsize a little bit. And a lot of restaurants, my peers, tend to stop marketing. They take that out of the budget, and I double my marketing budget.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, the only thing out there heard is Deano's because everybody else quit.
That's
so they
true.
Kind of make it easy for me.
Yeah.
But, we learned that in the 80s.
So you went through it and you adjusted, but our government hadn't adjusted.
They have not.
They didn't adjust at all from the 80s.
Increased spending.
But this is what I told people, and I think you're going to agree with this, Tim. Brian, I'll tell you, I've said it probably too much. So they've been asking the governor, the co-governorship with Darden, asking, what do y'all want us to cut? What do y'all want us to cut? Well, let's flip it. What do I cut, Tim? What do you cut? You just said you made cuts.
That's right.
You made real cuts. They're not making real cuts.
No.
They're saying, hey, we want to just keep it simple. We had $1,000, we want $1,200.
Right.
Okay. But y'all forcing us to take $1,100. Well, Tim, from 1,000 to 1,100, I think that's Brandon made no Common Core math. I don't. Ain't that an increase?
That's an increase.
But they call it a cut. They call it a cut. 12, we got 11. Right. I don't think you could operate like that.
No. That's not a cut. That is not a cut.
I'm just throwing it out. You said you had 200, how many employees?
About 200.
About 200. So on a payroll, let's say your payroll a month was, let's keep it low. Let's say $10,000. I know it's more than that. But $10,000, you made a cut. That means your payroll probably went to 9.
Right.
That would be a cut.
That's a cut.
But if your payroll went to 11,000 and you said, hey, man, we cut back payroll, and you cut 2 people, but you added money to everybody.
Give everybody else a raise. That
wouldn't be a cut, would it?
No.
Talk to people in Baton Rouge. You see, Tim, what you just did was you just showed common sense.
Right.
We're not using that a whole lot.
No, not in government.
I will say it again. I hope the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts get every penny they need. Mm-hmm. And I mean every penny they need and every penny they want. But when I saw this article was about how the Boy Scouts are getting money for their project and the girls are not getting money for their project. And the projects for both of them, I think, are $850,000. We're talking about real money.
Real money.
Yeah. They throw that stuff around like you would if you dropped 2 pennies on the ground. Now, my daddy and them were different. Back in that day, somebody dropped 2 pennies on the ground, They beat the hell out of you trying to get to those 2 pennies. We dropped 2 pennies on the down and go, we can't use that for that, so don't worry about it.
Might hurt my back. Yeah. No.
Tim Metcalf, my special guest. Deano's Pizza is his business. He'll be with us for the full hour. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. By the way, you Girl Scout or Boy Scout people that think I'm wrong, you can call me and let me know how I am wrong. There's other organizations out there that are getting money that don't deserve it either. And I don't care what the cause is for. If it's state money, it goes to state stuff, not a local project like that.
Private money, private.
There's our big problem that nobody wants to address. We'll take a break. More of the Moon Griffon Show, Tim Metcalf Show, when we get back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. Tim Metcalf, my special guest host. He gave a bunch of money to St. Jude for us, and that was part of the deal. And we actually picked up 3 people that did it. Tim's filling in today with me to meet that obligation. Brian, do you have that song for? Oh. This is my song, Tim, because you hadn't heard.
You told me about it.
This is this is our chorus song to, I think, a failed governor, and I think this is the theme song that we need to be playing.
What kind of fool do you think I am? I ain't falling for you all over again. I ain't playing a game that I know I can't win.
We lost.
What kind of fool do you think I am?
There's not even a cool fool that'll vote for that. Anyway, Tim, I thought you'd get a kick out.
I did.
It's just a little message.
That's right.
I just think we'll do this for the next. I don't know. I don't like to run things in the ground too much.
No.
I think Brandon's gonna play it every day.
I could not stop listening to that yesterday, and then it had me listening to 90s and early 2000 country music all day.
If that was young artists right there,
and
they were just making a way, I couldn't play this like I'm gonna play it. Because people, they'll come here and nobody will show up because they'll be sick of that one song.
He's probably thankful that you're playing that song because we hadn't heard him in a long time.
Oh, I know, but he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Who sung that?
I don't know.
You were supposed to pull that out for me.
Moon, I don't know the name of him. I can look it up.
Good producers are really hard to find, but award-winning producers are impossible to find.
That's right.
So I got to keep him around. Tim, we were talking off the air too a little bit about a payroll, and they've been throwing out this $15 minimum wage, and I asked you specifically. I said, Tim, I bet you work a lot of college students. You said, well, absolutely, work a ton of them. A lot of people moving on to go do stuff, but they got to work. My kids did it.
That's right.
We did it. The difference between my kids is they had to work through school. I was on scholarship, so my daddy would put me at a plant or a pipeline job or a construction job. he put me out there, buddy, when it was get out there. But they wanted me to go get a college degree, and the best thing they did was put me out there where you had to work with your hands 10 hours a day.
And you figured you didn't want to do that the rest of your life. So
I just figured,
that'd be an easier way.
I did survive, and I never got fired. I think that's a plus.
That's a plus.
But what happens is people don't understand when they start talking about Bernie Sanders is now coming out with a new plan. I'll get to that in a minute. But $15 minimum wage at a place like that, what would that do for the prices? Number one, what would it do for your employment? What would it do for your growth?
It's going to stagnate growth. Prices are going to go high. Sales will drop. They don't understand.
If that happens, don't you have to start letting people go?
Yeah,
you'll have to make an adjustment.
You have to do like McDonald's kiosks, and you'll have to downsize. Because, the guy that's making $4 an hour more than the minimum wage guy now doesn't want 15 if the minimum wage is 15. He wants 19 or 20.
All right, do you blame him?
No. He works more than he's not a minimum employee. He's a better employee. He's trained. So.
But this is the other point I wanted to make. And I worked for that same type of wage back then. When you're getting a college kid, you're getting entry-level people. These are people you're going to train. They can work. They can make them a little cash to help them in school, or spending money, whatever the reason. You don't care.
No.
They come in and become a good employee for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, depending on how long they had school, especially the ones you can keep that are good.
That's right.
And boy, that works best for everybody.
But
if Deano's goes from, instead of going from 2 to 3, they go from 2 to 1, because now you're in there every day. You have to do it yourself, and you have to just get very few part-time workers.
Right.
The left, and they don't see that. They don't understand what we just talked about.
No.
Because they're not running your business.
They never ran a business. They have no concept.
They can't.
Yeah. I think this all started under Obama.
They did.
With 90% of the jobs were minimum wage. He created something to that.
Oh, no, his job creation was people quit looking for work. They started going on disability, and they started taking less jobs for less money. You talk to an Obama person, he didn't create anything.
No.
Those jobs were stagnant. Those jobs were going nowhere for anybody.
Right.
And it did start under Barack Obama.
And mostly minimum wage jobs. So they say, how do we increase wages because they went down under Obama? Well, we'll increase the minimum wage.
Tim, I would bet you, I know I am, and Brandon can vouch for this. He can say we want to. I want to pay Brandon. I really do. I want to pay Brandon as much as I can pay him every week.
Yeah,
you know why?
We do.
Brandon stays. I got a feeling you want to pay your employees as much as you can afford to pay them.
That's right.
And people don't understand that. You know, you can't pay your employees more than you make. It's like Brandon can't make what I make. It just doesn't work that way.
No.
Now, Brandon can make what I make, and he may do a lot better than me because he's got no program, and he's already an award winner.
Right.
But my point being is, I don't think the concept in young people, they understand that. When they read Bernie Sanders, who the young people love him, set to announce a federal jobs proposal that guarantees a job with at least $15 per hour and health benefits to every American adult. But the problem is he don't know how to do it yet, but he's going to give us the plan. I bet the plan is to take money out of pockets of anybody making any money in any business.
It'll have to be. They always say tax the rich, but that never happens. And there's not enough wealth in the rich to make that plan feasible. So middle class will get hit.
Could you imagine you can have a job making $15, but here's my question. What if you told them, okay, your job is to pick up garbage. Your job is to go work construction. We're going to quit bringing illegals over. Your job is to go get a construction job. How many of these people who aren't working, who could work, I'm not talking about anybody who can't, how many do you think going to run out there for that construction job?
No. Very few. Very few.
I bet you come across people that really don't want to work either.
No, a lot of them. They have to fill out applications to keep their benefits. And their applications are horrible.
Yeah. But the thing about it is they got a lot of people don't realize that are in college. I'm not talking about any of your employees. I don't know any of them.
Right.
A guy told me the other day there are people that can rack up so many benefits from the government, plus work a little bit. And when they get out of college, maybe didn't graduate, their lives go down because they don't have all these benefits coming in anymore. I see this all the time.
The Pell Grants, and that's right.
And so, wow. But nobody, unless you're involved in that, you don't understand.
No.
A middle-class person doesn't even understand that.
No.
They're trying to work it and find a way to get the kids to school.
Exactly.
So you get to see a lot of it more than I do.
I do.
I've heard
working
about
with the young people. Right.
Oh, yeah,
right.
no doubt about it. All right, let's got some phone lines coming in. Let's go to Joyce in Lafayette. How you doing, Joyce?
Well, I'm doing fine. I want to tell Tim that we love his pizzas, so we go there often. So
thank you very much.
Yes, they're great. So they have a particularly good flavor, very unique. But anyway, I know you were talking earlier about state taxes and Governor John Bel Edwards, and of course I was with a group that really opposed the Medicaid expansion because we knew it would bring a lot of debt to the state. And so it's
actually eating up all the rest of the money in the budget, but nobody's talking about that.
Yes, it is. It is, and we knew that was going to happen, but still it's a fact. So now they're trying to cover, whatever. So, but I wanted to talk about the local taxes, Moon. I'm sure you're aware that this April 28th, there's 3 to 4 taxes on the ballot depending on where you live. And the renewals are for road maintenance, the library fund, which we strongly oppose that tax because they have a $39 million balance in it right now, fund balance.
That's all?
So,
that's all?
And of course, and then they have, I think, for recreation and parks. And so all these are on the April 28th ballot. But I went to the meeting the other day at City Hall for the November 6th. Let's see, it's Bruce Conk, Ken Boudreau, Jay Castile, and Kevin Naucan formed a committee, and they have decided that they need even more taxes. So they're going to have a ballot put on the November 6th election, which is, property taxes for the parish jail, which they say is a mandated expense, the district attorney's office, which they say is a mandated expense, and district court. We added it up. It's at least 8% additional taxes for property owners, and these are mandated expenses. They should be met with what they have in the budget. But you know what's funny, Joyce? You know what's funny? They keep talking about mandates. We got mandated property tax, mandated sales taxes, mandated health insurance, mandated home insurance, mandated flood insurance, mandated gas tax. We are getting mandated with taxes every bit as much as government, but you only hear about government talking about the mandates. Tim, you got a lot more because you got a business.
That's right. Right.
You got taxes dealing with
out of the wazoo.
Not to mention. Go ahead.
We had a business in Jennings. We had a women's and children's clothing store. Well, it was in business for 42 years. And, talking about the wage and hour law, we would often put a high school student on, and she would work in the summer.
Joyce, I got to go just for time. We'll talk to you later. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, it's your opportunity to be a voice. All right, we're going to jump gears for a few minutes. Tim Metcalf has not gone anywhere. He is an owner of Deano's Pizza right here in the great area of Lafayette. He's got two great locations. I think one is Bertrand and one is San Francisco College Saloon. That's pretty good. See, you didn't think I knew, but I knew.
Yeah.
Soon to be one in Carencro. We'll see how that works out for him. But let's jump gears. I want to visit with good friends at First South Farm Credit. Brett Munson joins us. Brett, how you doing, bud?
Hey, Moon, I'm doing good. How are you today?
And Brett, you know me. If I woke up, I'm pumped.
I'm kind of with you at this point.
Well, no, man, but it's a good time of year for you guys. I mean, people are out and about. People start thinking about land purchases, which y'all really can help people with. People start thinking, I wish I could buy my own land. I got the money, or I wouldn't mind financing some stuff and getting some nice hunting property or some a place we can get away. And the first thing they ought to think about is First South Farm Credit, because that's what you guys do and do it the best.
Yeah, that is what we do, and right now there are a lot of people out there looking for a place to call their own, regardless of what it's for, and we're here to help them make that happen. First and foremost, we're here to provide good, solid financing for someone that wants to buy some land, but we're also here to offer some advice and answer any questions people have regarding any land they may or may not be interested in.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you got your rural entrepreneurs out there. You got people that just want to buy land to do stuff with, but you guys can actually go look at a piece of land. They may be looking at it one way, and y'all can give them a couple of ideas with that land, like maybe they have marketable timber on that. It may can help pay for some of it. Yeah,
and people, at first may or may not realize that, but a lot of times, there could be a piece of land out there that is good for somebody in a couple different regards, but sometimes the timber is there and it's ready to be cut when you buy it, and that can help you reduce some of your financial obligation. And sometimes people just don't think of it like that. They get their eyes focused on the prize and don't realize what other opportunities may be there, and we're here to help them figure all that out.
By the way, Brett, do y'all help them if somebody comes to you and says, "Look, I want to buy some land. I'm going to have to borrow a little money. I'm looking at some different places." Do y'all help find land for them as well? Or is that not what you do?
Well, we can kind of point them in the right direction. We don't necessarily have a direct way to show them the land and sell the land, but we do partner with a lot of realtor groups around here and people selling land, so we can point them in the right direction once we figure out what they're looking for. A lot of our partners know exactly what they need, and we can help them figure it out.
Well, no doubt about it. And once again, y'all do full financing. How does that work? What give us some services that y'all really help people with when it comes to maybe they've got land they want to buy, but they got to fund it and things of that nature. What all can you do for them?
They do. The financing we offer, we'll gladly finance all the way up to 85% of the value of a piece of property, which is pretty good. Some people don't know whether that's good or not, but I'm here to tell you that it is. And we'll finance all the way up to 30 years if that's what fits somebody's budget. We're here to to structure a loan deal around what's best for the person and the client. So anything we can do to help, we can certainly figure out a way to make it work.
Brett Munson, First South Farm Credit. Brett, tell people what's the best way to get in touch with y'all, because I want people to know y'all have locations all over the state. Y'all have got somebody close enough they can get to them, they can go out and look at land or whatever they need to do. So you do have locations all over the state. There's a website. Give them information for me.
Yeah, there is. Website is www.firstsouthland.com, and to get in touch with their local office, they can call 800-955-1722. All
righty. One more time. Give it out again.
www.firstsouthland.com and 1-800-955-1722.
All righty. Brett Munson, First South Farm Credit. Thanks, Brett.
Thank you, Moon. Have a good one.
All right, appreciate it. By the way, Tim Metcalf, my special guest host with me, and we've been talking a little bit about business and taxes. And Tim, I wish, I've always said it, there's people that believe they wish everybody could have to go in the military for
right,
for a year.
Right.
You know, people have always said I'm not touching that one, but I wish people had to run a business for a year, and they had to break even or show a profit.
That's right.
And I think you would get a different take on how people are voting and some of these lawmakers are voting.
Are 2 years of your taxes not coming out of your payroll check, and you have to write that check?
Well, you want to see a disaster. I like that even better. All right. And Brandon has to do both. So Brandon gets paid, but Brandon has to do both.
1099.
And Brandon, you know that's tough. But what if today,
okay,
and Brandon is not an employee of me. Brandon's a contract labor with me.
Right.
But Brandon does work for Town Square Meat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What if tomorrow boss man walked in and said, Brandon, not paying any of your taxes. I'm going to pay our portion of it, because I know you still have to pay self-employment. You got to pay half of it.
That's right.
You know, you might have some liability, whatever. But Brandon, you pay all your taxes for the next 2 years. In other words, but this is the thing though, Brandon.
Yeah.
When you got your paycheck, you're going to say, wow, look at all the money. Wait till you have to write the check. You're going to say, wow, look how much they take. So what Tim's saying is, Brandon's already got experience with this because you know, I cut him a check, and he pays his own. His wife's been involved.
Yeah, my wife did contract for a long time.
Brandon's a good one to ask because he's kind of does both.
Right.
Okay? Me and you do the hard side, but Brandon does both. Brandon, think about this.
Mm-hmm.
How many people, not necessarily on our building, but how many friends you have all over this state, all over this country, if for 2 years they had to write their check, and then they had to do that, how many of them would get in big-time trouble not paying their tax or not be able to pay it when it comes due? Don't you think that would be a problem for a lot of people?
It's a wake up call. I mean, you asked me the question. I'd rather have my money taken out as the year goes, along, as per paycheck. I'd rather that, because when it gets time for tax time, if you don't save up, it's a lick. I mean, and like
I said, that's why I said I brought you into this. You're a great person to talk about this, but I tell you, you think about all your employees, and you think about employees here and all over the places. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, from people that make $20,000 to make $150,000, $500,000, and whoever they were working for didn't pay those taxes.
Yeah.
And by the way, how about if they had to pay the whole self-employment tax? Okay, right. Brad, I pay 15.
Yeah,
what is it?
Rough.
15 a third, 15 a quarter, 15.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's rough.
Okay, Brandon. So you got your regular tax bracket.
Yeah.
And if you're self-employed, I have to pay the full 15%. So whatever my tax bracket is, add 15% to it. Now, let everybody have to do that, because what we did was Town Square, all the radio stations we on, Tim, they got to hire CPA. They got to have full-time accountants to take care of all this stuff. So what you've done to a business is you pounded on the business. And if he doesn't do it right, tell them what they do to you. They might fine you a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't do it right, you don't do it on time, they come back and check you out and go, hey, Tim, we got 4 employees. We find you ain't paid anything.
Right.
You're going to get in trouble.
You're in big trouble. Big trouble.
And most of it's going to be money, but it doesn't matter. They're going to fine you and charge you back pay.
Right.
But Brandon, what I'm saying is, and Brandon's responsible, but if everybody had to do this, I guarantee you 90% of the people would be in trouble every time tax time came around.
They would. There's a reason they do it. The government.
Because they can hold you responsible.
That's right.
Because what Tim does, and Brandon, you probably know this because of what you do, on your on your check you get from here, you pay half
Half of the
of the 15 of the FICA.
Yes.
They pull it out of your check directly. The company pays the other half.
I've seen the other side of it too. Again, with my wife when she was doing contract work, having to pay the full 15, and imagine this too, because this just recently got lifted, and it's still in the process, obviously being lifted. Is people that didn't have health insurance getting popped on top of that with the with the fine there as well. So can you imagine being a contract worker having to pay the 15% and getting popped on the health insurance tax? Which I wanted to ask you, Tim, because we've been talking about the changes to the tax code that go into effect next year. Like the standard deduction for married couples going up to $24,000.
It's this year, but you'll take advantage.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. We talk about it on the personal level and how good that is. On the business level, like for you, the changes that were made for you and for other business people, how beneficial or detrimental is the changes to the tax code?
It didn't change a whole lot.
Didn't change a whole lot for y'all?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
It helped my employees, which is a positive.
Right.
But you know, we talk about the new tax code from the federal. The first thing when that was announced, the state popped us an email and said, you have to do the new Louisiana tax code.
Yeah.
By the way,
emergency order.
That was $300 million.
But wait, it took, the email came out the day it was announced. It took the state 6 weeks to get the new tax code. Our software companies didn't. We're like,
they did. It took a little while.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I think it was like February.
Yeah, it was. It was
February.
Right.
But and
people got to enjoy one check where it came in and you got the tax cut from the federal level, and then by the next one,
the state kicked in.
My brother called me and said, wow, he said, I got $100 extra pay period.
Right.
And as soon as the state kicked in, he said, wow, they took almost all of it.
I think they were trying to avoid that because people it wakes them up. They say, well, wait a second, the state, and they want more money too?
State government wants more money, and they got to understand, people that itemize, basically 45% of, they keep throwing 20%. That's a lie. I can prove that all day long. Yeah. It's about 45% of the people got hit with higher taxes already, and we got the co-governorship begging for more money. We got the newspaper saying we're not paying enough. You know, it's amazing to watch.
No, it's horrible.
You know, just take a break. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Tim Metcalf, my special guest, owner of Deano's Pizza. Check them out if you're in Lafayette. Great food, great time for all. We're going to take a break. Be back. More to come. Your calls always welcome on the Hickson has it hotline. We'll be right back. Hi, hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show, co-host Tim Metcalf, Deano's Pizza, business owner here in Lafayette, and of course, two great locations on from Bertrand, which is not too far from here, and the one off of College Saloon. People that they know y'all, trust me. But somebody coming into town may go, I may try those folks.
Yeah,
so we got to give them a try, no doubt about it. I kind of got a kick. I was coming back from Monroe yesterday and start noticing billboards, and I promise y'all, I'm not making this up, Brandon. I saw a billboard yesterday that did not have a lawyer up there begging to sue somebody. I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. I said, look, somebody was advertising a restaurant or a trucking company or something, and it wasn't a lawyer. Of course, the next 10 or 12 are lawyers. But I'm just saying, in between the lawyer billboards, I promise you, somebody was not suing. They was asking you to come do some business with them. Wow. I was in shock.
That's a novel idea.
Ooh, don't go down 90.
No.
Man, the one thing about it is, used to you could look up there and you would see those signs that would say, hey, we are hiring. 401k.
Right.
Healthcare.
Benefits.
They were just saying all that. Man, we're hiring. Looking for jobs now. Call now. You don't see them. No. All you see is, if you've been injured offshore. If you've been injured in a wreck.
18-wheeler.
If somebody's breathed on you wrong. Somebody said hi that day in the wrong tone. Somebody mentioned something about your shoes they didn't like. Call us. We can get you some money. I mean, the whole thing. Now, people say, you don't like lawyers. It's not true. Some of my best friends are lawyers. I bet they're yours too. Yeah. Well, we're not talking about that, but it's amazing to watch. We kick the goose that laid the golden egg out.
Right.
In the oil and gas industry.
Go to Texas.
Why not finish suing the hell out of them? Is that not funny?
That's horrible.
Well, like I said, I was going down the road and I saw one that did not say, if you've been injured, somebody said hi the wrong way.
Should have taken a picture and put it on your website.
I didn't even think about that, Tim. That might have been a good idea. But anyway, Bernie Sanders wants, this is going to be interesting, $15 an hour and health care. Guaranteed.
Guaranteed for everybody.
How do you do that? Think about it. He says Sanders' office has yet to release details and plans funding, but previous large-scale projects proposed by the Vermont Progressive. This guy's not progressive. This guy is borderline fool.
Oh, yeah.
He says involve ending tax breaks for the wealthiest Americans and large corporations. By the way, Kirsten Gillibrand, New York, Cory Booker, Brandon, he's real conservative, huh? Have also expressed support.
Liberals.
The goal is to eliminate working poverty and voluntary unemployment altogether. You know the problem he's got? All these people, some of these people he's talking about, they don't want to go to work.
No.
They don't want to learn a trade. That's what puzzles me about the minimum wage. It's an entry level. We just talked about that.
Right.
College kids, high school kids, whatever. It's an entry level deal. I promise you, these people that he's talking about, guaranteed health care, guaranteed 15 hours. I'm not saying all. A lot of these people, they don't want a job.
They're already getting that. Why would they work for it when they're getting it for free?
Tim, think about it. Free cell phone, free food,
free insurance,
a check, free health care, which is insurance.
Right.
Housing or subsidized.
Right.
Depending on what you make. And what else you want? You know what I go to work for? Food, clothing, shelter. Now, I know me and you like to have hobbies.
Right.
But it's because you work for it. If you couldn't afford it, you wouldn't do it.
No.
You know the other thing, and this is a thing that I've mentioned many times. You're a business owner. And I don't know your wealth, and I could care less. I hope you're worth $1 billion. I do.
Hardly.
I know, but I'm just telling you
that's right.
how I am. I pull for the business people. I fight them sometime when they do some stupid things, some big ones with taxes, but the bottom line is I am a pro-business guy. I'm as big as pro-business guy as you've ever seen. The people on the left have made it sound like all businesses, the perception is filthy rich.
Right.
They all got money. They go vacations. They really have young and people convinced that, man, if they're a business owner, they're raking in the money.
Right.
But Tim, they don't know.
On the backs of their employees. Yeah.
Correct. And the thing about it is, let me give it to you. There was an article today. Now you got to remember, Lanny Keller writes for the Advocate. And when I tell you an idiot, a pure 100% idiot. He wrote on, Brandon's over there going,
I'll take your word for it.
Brandon's over there going, well, we got him labeled. But he wrote an article, I think it was out today. And what's bad about it is, here's what he said. This is in his article.
Okay.
Talking about the Jindal years and all these elected officials. They rob from the poor to give the rich, to give to the rich.
Okay.
How do you rob from somebody who doesn't have a job? How do you rob from somebody who's not paying any taxes? Property taxes? They may pay a little sales taxes, but if we give them a check to pay the sales taxes.
Right.
So they don't really pay any taxes of any kind. How do you rob from a person like that?
You got me.
I mean, if you see a poor guy on the street begging for food, you gonna go stop and take his coat and jacket from him?
No.
Now, if you want to rob from somebody, rob from somebody that's rich.
Rich guy, yeah.
But he said that. He actually told people in Baton Rouge that's what's going on in Louisiana.
It's probably that Common Core math. You know, what we didn't give them more, but not giving them more, we gave them less and robbed from them. I guess that's the only thing I can.
Wait, I mean, I just thought about that. I said, this is a writer for the Advocate who doesn't have any brain where he's working anymore.
No.
He really doesn't. But that's what he said.
And people read it.
People read it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you read Lanny Keller or Greg Hilburn and you believe that, you are an idiot.
Yes.
We got to take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Tim Metcalf, my special guest. Tim, appreciate what you gave. Appreciate you coming by, man.
Thank you, man.
It's been a lot of fun with you. I hope I'm letting you talk enough.
No, yeah. I'm good.
Brandon convinced me that if I did, you would join in anyway. So that's what I'm counting on you to do.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, one thing I want to talk to you about, because I know you're kind of a world traveler and you do some things. I've been to Alaska once. We're going on this cruise. People are still welcome to come and go to our Facebook and check it out and get in touch with Travel Machine and they can get you taken care of. But you've been to Alaska many times.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, probably about a dozen times.
Have you really?
Right.
Did you hunt it mostly?
Mostly.
Okay. I got the salmon fish last time and I caught one on a fly rod. That was a trip.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, one of the funny things about that is, we get our tide comes up of half a foot to 2 foot sometime out here.
60-foot tide.
Well, this was a 22-foot tide.
Right.
And the guy told me, and I said, "You joking?" He said, "Well, let our plane be late. We're going to be up in them hills." Well, the plane came in late. And the guy was upset because the little island we was on was already circled in water.
Right.
We still had time to get out. Phenomenal bald eagles. I've never seen. You see an eagle here? But am I wrong by saying they 2.5, 3 feet depth? I mean,
they're so much bigger.
2.5 feet.
I don't know if it's the plumage from the cold weather or they're just bigger birds, but they're huge.
Gosh, I could not believe.
6-foot wingspan. Yeah.
Man, when you saw them, you hope one of them don't come pick you up.
Pick you up.
I mean, I saw one eating about a 6-pound salmon, and it was funny because they're on endangered species. Nobody touches them.
Right.
And we were across a little creek from here to that truck, and that bird just looked at us and went back to eat.
Not a care.
That bird we were not a care. We just sat there and watched it, and we were all
right.
No, but what a beautiful. Have you been anywhere any prettier than Alaska? If you might have, but Alaska's pretty.
Alaska's pretty nice.
In the United States,
it's so diverse too. It's such a huge state from southeast to Anchorage to around Mount McKinley to the North Slope. It just changes, but it's all beautiful.
There's no doubt about it. Well, we're going on a cruise, and I knew you had gone there before, but you did more hunting than fishing.
Right. But we spent time on a boat. You get to see the glaciers and the icebergs and the wildlife, the whales.
Well, we're going on a cruise, so we got a chance to see a lot of that. We're going on the inner deal. Now, I didn't do the inner last time, but we're doing it this time.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it.
It's a trip of a lifetime for people. If they really want to go, they ought to come cruise with us. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. It's an amazing part of it.
But the one we went on last time, I would always walk in the morning, 2 or 3 miles, and just walk around the boat. And I was either coming into a port where you got to see all the pretty stuff, or one time they stopped and turned around and watched big old glacier. People can take pictures. They stayed there a little while.
Right.
And I got to see them back into that, and that was breathtaking, man.
Yeah, it is.
It really was. That's a beautiful part of our country.
It is.
So you highly recommend it?
I highly recommend it.
By the way, I've been to Hawaii and Alaska. Y'all can have Hawaii.
You can have Hawaii. Right.
And not because Obama's from there. Nothing to do with that.
No. It's
nobody was thinking about that.
It's nice, but it's overpriced. And
I think it's nice. I tell people if I want to look at the beach, I go to you can go to plenty of beaches.
Go to Florida.
Yeah, you can go. Yeah. You can go from Louisiana to Florida and see all the beaches you want to enjoy your life.
Right.
And probably be a little cheaper.
Yeah. No doubt.
All right, let's jump gear. Kathleen Benfield joins the Louisiana Family Forum. Kathleen, how you doing?
Good morning, Moon. Thank you so much for inviting us.
No, ma'am. No problem at all. Hey, Kathleen, I've been watching them. It was amazing. Tell me if I'm wrong. They got a gambling bill passed that will allow a floating casino to operate offshore. And they passed one for a bill to move to Tangipahoa Parish. Actually, that one ended up failing. But the other problem they had is that I think the people voted gambling out there. So they can't vote for another referendum. So how's all that working? I mean, they tell us gambling's not expanding, but how's all that working?
Yeah, well, how is that working out for you? It's not working out too good for the people of Louisiana, that's for sure. So this session, as you probably are aware, and your listeners as well, the gambling industry has made an all-out push to expand or deregulate gambling in almost every sector of the gambling industry, as well as create new sectors like internet gambling, sports betting, fantasy sports gambling, etc. Well, part of that 37-bill package of the gambling industry is a bill that would allow the riverboat casinos, 15 of those in our state, to move out of the waterways and to make their final evolutionary push onto land and to actually become land boats, but really to become 15 mini land-based casinos.
Okay, let me stop you right there, Kathleen. I ran into somebody without mentioning the name, because it was a private conversation, somebody in the legislature that told me. Now, he laughed when I said, they're not expanding gambling. And he laughed. He said almost every bill is expanding, but tried to convince me that the casino, just that one bill, forget everything else, just the casino moving on land was in no way an expansion at all. Now, I thought it was funny because everybody I've ever talked to on every one of the bills, they all said they're not expanding. Because I think they know people will vote against it if they think it's expansion. So here's my question to you. How is the casinos moving to land an expansion? Because the gentleman I talked to is a major player in this. And I just happened to run into him at a restaurant. But I don't want to mention his name. It was a private but he did say this bill does not expand gambling. So go from there. Tell me, does it? Does it not?
Sure,
and if it does, how does it?
Well, there's two things here. We could have either an expansion or a deregulation. So if it doesn't fit into expansion, it certainly fits into deregulation. And I could make the argument, which we can talk about if you want, why deregulation is bad. And we'll talk about that next maybe. But let's just talk about the expansion aspect. So basically what the bill does is two things, that the riverboat gambling bill of Senator Ronnie Johns, who, by the way, we love Senator Ronnie Johns. He's a great guy. We respect him, and we get along with him and agree with him on almost every topic. But this particular subject, no, we don't.
Okay.
But what this bill allows is for the riverboat casinos to move onto land. Right now, the casinos are limited to 30,000 square feet of gambling area. The bill by Senator Johns eliminates the restrictions on the amount of space that the gambling area can take up, but it does restrict the number of quote-unquote gaming positions. Now, these gaming positions could be a seat at a poker table or a seat at a slot machine, but it's there. And what they did was they took the maximum number of gaming positions in the state at the Golden Nugget in Lake Charles. They increased that by a certain percentage, and then they said, okay, that's the magic number that will limit the number of gaming positions. The second part of that, though, so now they have unlimited gaming and non-gaming space sprawled out 1,200 feet up to 1,200 feet from where they're currently berthed, B-E-R-T-H-E-D, and they also have a limit on, but they do have a limit on the number of gaming positions. But get this, Moon, 56 days of the year they can have tournaments in which there's no limit on the number of gaming positions. So 56 days of the year. By the
way, that was not explained to me.
No.
That was not explained to me at all, and it was just told to me over and over again, this bill doesn't expand gambling. And that's why I wanted you to be on the program, because it does. They know that if you say it expands gambling, it fails. And barely passed the Senate yesterday. Right. But the House is another ball game.
That's true. And can we just talk about deregulation for a moment?
Yes, ma'am.
And why? Okay, so our argument is that not only does the bill expand gambling, but it also deregulates gambling. And Moon, I know that you're a conservative and a libertarian, and so am I. And so normally when we talk about deregulating a business, we think that's a good idea. We think that it's good to let the free market have its way and to let people vote with their feet and their dollars on regulations and how businesses should conduct themselves. But in the case of a vice like gambling, and we know that it is a vice, that it has many deleterious and harmful effects on the community as well as on individuals, the legislature chose to, and wisely so, put very strict regulations on those businesses. And why did they do that? They did it to prevent the corruption that has come. I'm from Jefferson Parish, and Jefferson had a long history of corrupt gambling, organized crime, etc.
I'm about to say, you're from Jefferson. There's never been no corruption down there.
No, never. To prevent corruption, to prevent the proliferation, the massive proliferation. For example, they limited it to just 15 riverboat licenses. And to try to curtail and prevent the predatory gambling practices. So those regulations were put in place in order to control the vice and to keep it within, a strict framework. What we've seen since the 90s, when they enacted all of these different gambling venues, is we've seen the constant attempts to deregulate, to chip away at those regulations, and thus, removing those safeguards so that people can, so that the gambling industry can sprawl, for example, onto shore and further impact those communities in which they're located. So thank you for letting me explain that.
Well, no, I think that's a good idea, and I know the Family Farm and other people have been watching these bills. Once again, I was told this was not expansion. Did admit that a lot of the bills were expansion, and as I told the gentleman, when you group them all together, I don't care what anybody says, the perception is this is an expansion. Same thing with Harris and all other stuff.
Exactly.
This is an expansion. And matter of fact, the gentleman I talked to even said Harris is a gigantic expansion. But we got Speaker of the House, I know Taylor well, he says it's not. Well, all of them are saying it's not. But the bottom line is if you say this is an expansion of gambling out front, I think the House would kill every bill. The Senate's let one go through so far.
Yeah, and let me say this about that. We have been talking about these bills with different members of the industry. We've met privately with various sectors, and they've tried to convince us, each one, that it's not. Each segment, the first thing they say, and this was mentioned by Senator Long on the floor yesterday of the Senate, Senator Long and Senator Milkovich yesterday, and Senator Brad Allen did a fantastic job of presenting the anti-gambling point of view on the Senate floor yesterday.
Yeah,
but each segment of the industry has said to us, look, those other guys, that's an expansion of gambling.
That's exactly what I heard.
Development.
That's
economic development, baby. Forget about those other guys. That's expansion of gambling. But look at us. We are economic development.
Kathleen,
that's the message that they're trying to
That's
make.
exactly what I got this past weekend. Exact words. Look at them other ones, not mine.
Not mine.
That's a great. Kathleen Benfield, Louisiana Family Farm. All right, Kathleen, just because of time, I'm going to let you go, but we may do it again the next day or two.
All right. Thank you so much, Moon. God bless you and your audience.
All right, Kathleen, thank you so much. Kathleen Benfield, Louisiana Family Farmer. We got to take a break. Tim Metcalf will help me wrap up this last segment. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. We'll be right back. Hi, hello. Welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. Tim Metcalf, who's been my special guest. And, of course, Deano's Pizza. Make sure you check them out, folks. The food's really good. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, we eat there, and we enjoy it. I know a lot of people. I got one of my buddies, and every time he's taking me to eat, I don't even ask him where we're going.
Straight to Deano.
Matter of fact, he'd text me and go, Deano's at 11:30? No, he'd say, lunch at 11:30? I put, yes, see you then.
And you know where you're going.
We don't even talk about a restaurant. That's awesome. Wait, knows I'm so close. I mean, we're
very
a
close.
rock throw from here, just about. And Tim, I appreciate your comments, appreciate what you did for St. Jude. It was all about that, and you were kind enough to do that. And
thanks for having me.
We were humbled that you did that, by the way. I forgot even what we was talking. I know we was talking about. I'm not going to get into the gambling. I know they had that here. They had it in other places. It's gone. I was under understanding that there can be no more referendum. You can't vote it in because I think you remember once it was voted out. And I'm not trying to go too deep with you, but once it was voted out, I remember him saying this is a one-time vote. You're either going to have it or you're not.
That's right. That's the way I remember it.
How did they bring it back up? I mean, they elected officials. They do whatever they want.
They do what they want. They change the rules.
Do they? Yeah. By the way, one of the problems in the state that I've often talked about here was that we do change the rules. We change it for businesses. We change it for education. We change them how we're going to fix our roads. That is one of our major problems. You're a business guy. You talked about opening maybe another one in Karen Crow, right up the road. Still Lafayette Parish.
Right.
But if you're doing it based on the rules you have now. But in the process of building that, they could do something stupid. You go, why am I building another building? I had a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, who built another business. And he said, had he known they were going to change the rules dealing with sales tax and some of the fees and all that stuff, he'd have never built that business.
Right.
That kind of hurts. That says a lot.
It does. Being not business friendly, it hurts. And Lafayette's parish is kind of getting into that.
Well, with the state, we're just not real friendly.
No, the state's not at all. But Lafayette Parish has to be careful. They're kind of on the bubble.
Yeah. And that's, I hear that with a lot of areas too. They just concerned about where we're going with all. I just think business people, if you talk to business people, you're talking about your money, you're talking about your investment. Whether you got it or you're borrowing it, it's still your money.
That's right.
Okay.
You're responsible for it.
And so that's right. And when you can't, this is what's happening when investors come in here looking at oil and gas and all. When you can't make a decision, you're making a decision. You build another store. That is not to put that store out there for 1 or 2 years. If you make it, fine. You're basically saying, okay, in the next 2 to 5 years, we're going to get this thing going in the right direction, and hopefully it'll work the rest of the time.
Right.
But boy, if they change the rules in the middle of the game, and we do this all the time. Me and you are the same age. Right. We do a 3 to 5 year education reform every 3 to 5 years, and nothing changes.
Nothing changes. We spoke about that in the break. The state never changes. it's pretty much the same since I've been living here.
Well, especially education.
71.
I've never seen education reform. I've heard about it.
We've talked about it. We've talked about it.
We talk
a good story. But
we talk about it. We hear about it. And boy, when that governor's out and that governor's done, here comes the next governor. And here comes another change.
Oh yeah, they point fingers at the last governor, and then we're going to change all that. But
yeah, y'all got to give us the opportunity.
Fiscal cliff.
Oh man, aren't you tired of those two words
I'm
being
tired,
put together?
I'm tired. I have no more fear of heights anymore. I'm like, no.
No, it's amazing too. I've been doing this. I'm in my 25th year. You may have been watching it longer than me. I remember fiscal cliff and financial problems at least the whole 25 years I've been here.
Oh yeah.
Doing the program.
Right.
And it's amazing how that's never solved.
Ever. It's always one-sided. More taxes never control spending. Ever.
No. As a matter of fact, the governor now will not talk about spending.
No.
As a matter of fact, if you look.
If he does, it's not the truth.
Well, he talks about spending. No, let me back up. We owe him an apology.
Right.
He talks about spending more.
Yeah.
Since y'all talking about gambling, by the way, we do have an update. It does not look like the Tangipahoa Parish will vote on whether they want a riverboat casino in their parish. A bill that called for a local referendum in November did not pass the Senate on a 15-18 vote. Now, a House bill that would have done the same thing also failed to get out of the House Criminal Justice Committee.
No, they've already killed. Brandon, there was, I might be wrong, I think there was over 30 gambling bills. There was never going to be more than one or two probably make it out. The casino has made it through the Senate. It's just got to go through the House committee and the House.
The Harris.
That was that casino bill. There was a Harris, and I hadn't followed them as close as like these other people. But Harris was one that was moving, and then the one with the casinos moved through the Senate
to become land-based.
Yeah, to be land-based. It got 22 votes yesterday.
Okay.
So that has to go to the House committee.
Right.
One of the judiciary's committees. And then if it passes, it goes to a full house. And they'll have to have it at least, I think, 53 votes. And, that's when you got a lot of buying going on.
No, that's right. Yeah. A lot of lobbyists hit the floor.
Boy, do they. They hit the floor and they get people to moving. It's no doubt about it.
They do.
It's an amazing thing.
Everybody should spend a day in Baton Rouge.
But what's funny, Tim? These folks, not all of them, but a lot of them, they don't live in your world.
No.
They don't live in a world
it's a disconnect.
If y'all do payroll every other week,
twice a month. Yeah.
Okay, twice a month. When that month comes up, that's got to be X amount of dollars to pay your taxes and things. But payroll,
it's huge,
which is 35% of your deal. You got to have that money.
Have it in
and
the
if you don't,
right.
You better have a line of credit, some money you save back to borrow against.
Right.
Because you got to pay it.
Yeah, it has to be done. As soon as we write the checks, we have to dial into the federal government and make that federal deposit. That money immediately comes out of the
Don't do that once or twice and see how that works.
Yeah.
Tim Metcalf, God bless you, brother. Thank you. Been a blessing, man.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for what you did for St. Jude.
Thanks for having me on, sir.
The whole Town Square media family here that helped push that. They were very humble that y'all did that. I promise you. All right, folks, just going to wrap it up tomorrow. Wow. What's tomorrow? My days are messed up. Friday Eve?
Yeah,
already?
Friday Eve, yeah.
Oh, I can live with that.
You can't forget that day, Moon. You can forget Monday, but you can't forget Friday.
I got to forget Friday. That's your favorite day, and it's payday.
And it's payday.
Look at it. He smiles on that. I just got.
Yes.
By the way, watch this. Tim, can I borrow some money to pay rent?
I don't know you that well.
I better go look. I better go check my line of credit.
There we go.
All right, man. God bless. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, sir.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow.